For 5 years, my mother-in-law called me barren. She told everyone in the family that I was broken, defective, the reason her son would never be a father. She made my life a living hell with her constant comments about my inability to give her grandchildren. Then I got pregnant. We planned a big gender reveal party, and she showed up with that smug smile on her face, ready to finally celebrate. That's when I stood up in front of everyone and told them the real reason she was right all along. The look on her face was something I'll never forget. My name is Lauren, I'm 32, and I've been married to my husband Daniel for 7 years. His mother Patricia has hated me from day one, but it got really bad around year 2 when we still didn't have kids. It started with innocent questions. So, when am I getting grandbabies? She'd ask this every single time we visited. At first, Daniel and I would laugh it off and say someday or we're not ready yet, but Patricia didn't want to wait. By year 3 of our marriage, the comments got cruel. You know, Daniel, your biological clock is ticking too. If Lauren can't give you children, maybe you should reconsider your options. She said this at Thanksgiving dinner, in front of his entire family. I was humiliated, but Daniel just squeezed my hand under the table and didn't say anything. That became the pattern. She'd make horrible comments and he'd stay silent. By year 4, Patricia started telling people I was infertile. I'd overhear her on the phone with her friends. My poor Daniel married a woman who can't have children. I don't know what he was thinking. She seemed healthy, but clearly something's wrong with her. At family gatherings, she'd introduce me as Daniel's wife who we're praying can give us grandchildren someday. She'd touch my stomach and say things like, "Is there a baby in there yet? No? Still nothing?" When Daniel's sister announced her pregnancy, Patricia threw her a massive baby shower and made a toast about how at least one of my children married someone capable of carrying on the family name. I was sitting right there. I begged Daniel to stand up for me. "Please just tell her to stop. This is destroying me." "She's my mom," he'd say. "She's just old-fashioned. She means well. Just ignore her." But you can't ignore someone calling you broken for 5 years straight. Finally, after 5 years of trying naturally, Daniel and I went to a fertility specialist. I was terrified. What if Patricia was right? What if something really was wrong with me? We both got tested. Full workups, blood tests, ultrasounds, everything. I barely slept the week we waited for results. The doctor called us in for a consultation. I was shaking when we sat down. Daniel held my hand. The doctor looked at us with this gentle expression and said, "Lauren, your fertility is completely normal. Actually, you have excellent ovarian reserve and your hormone levels are perfect." Relief flooded through me, then immediate confusion. "So, why haven't we been able to conceive?" I asked. The doctor turned to Daniel. "Daniel, your semen analysis shows severe oligospermia and asthenospermia. In simple terms, you have a very low sperm count and poor sperm motility. Natural conception is highly unlikely without intervention." The room went silent. Daniel's face went white. That can't be right. Men in my family are very fertile. My mom had 3 kids easily. My sister got pregnant on her first try. The doctor shook her head. "I'm looking at your results right now. Your sperm count is less than 10% of normal range. This is a significant male factor infertility issue." I looked at Daniel. For 5 years, his mother had been calling me infertile, telling everyone I was the problem, making me feel like I was failing as a wife. And the entire time, it was him. I wasn't angry at Daniel. Infertility isn't anyone's fault. But I was furious that he'd let his mother blame me for 5 years without once considering it might not be me. "We can try IVF with ICSI," the doctor continued. "That's intracytoplasmic sperm injection. We'd extract your sperm directly, select the healthiest ones, and inject them into Lauren's eggs. Success rates are good." We left the appointment in silence. When we got home, I waited for Daniel to say something. Anything. An apology for letting his mother torture me. A plan to tell her the truth. Instead, he said, "We can't tell my mother." I stared at him. "What? We can't tell her it's me. She'd be devastated. This would destroy her image of our family. Can we just not tell her the specifics?" "Daniel, your mother has been verbally abusing me for 5 years. She's called me barren in front of your entire family. And you want to protect her feelings." "She's my mom," he said weakly. "She's old-fashioned. She wouldn't understand." That's when I realized he cared more about his mother's feelings than mine, more about her reputation than my suffering. I decided right then that I was done protecting Patricia. We did 2 rounds of IVF. The second round worked. I got pregnant with twins, a boy and a girl. Daniel was overjoyed. So was I. These were our miracle babies. But when we told Patricia, her reaction was cold. "Well, finally," she said. "I was beginning to think you'd never manage it. 5 years is a long time to make a man wait." She didn't congratulate me, didn't hug me, just made another comment about how I'd kept her son waiting. At my first ultrasound, When we saw both babies on the screen, Patricia's first comment was, "Let's hope Lauren can actually carry them to term. Some women's bodies just can't handle pregnancy." I smiled sweetly and didn't respond. But inside, I was planning. When I was 4 months along and we knew the genders, Patricia insisted on throwing us a gender reveal party. Not because she cared about me. She hadn't acknowledged my pregnancy beyond making negative comments, but because she wanted to throw a big party where she could be the center of attention. "I'm throwing you a gender reveal," she announced at Sunday dinner. "I've already booked the venue. Everyone will come. It'll be beautiful." Daniel looked relieved that I wasn't arguing. He thought I was finally getting along with his mother. I smiled. "That sounds lovely, Patricia. Thank you so much." What Daniel didn't know was that I'd been planning this moment for months. I'd been carrying the weight of Patricia's cruelty for 5 years, and I was finally going to set the record straight. I invited our fertility doctor to the party as my close friend. I made sure all of Daniel's extended family would be there, and I prepared exactly what I was going to say. The party was everything you'd expect from Patricia. Huge venue, pink and blue everything, balloon arches, fancy catering. She'd invited at least 100 people, family, friends, church members, neighbors. Patricia gave a long speech about how she'd waited so long to be a grandmother, how patient she'd been, how excited she was that her son had finally found a way to give her grandbabies. The implication was crystal clear. Daniel had succeeded despite having a defective wife. Everyone clapped. Daniel squeezed my hand, oblivious. Finally, it was time for the reveal. We had a large black balloon that would pop to release colored confetti. Patricia handed Daniel the pin with this big smile. He popped it. Pink and blue confetti exploded everywhere. Twins, 1 boy, 1 girl. Everyone cheered. Patricia grabbed the microphone from the DJ. "I just knew my son would give me beautiful grandchildren. He comes from very fertile stock. I never lost faith in him." That's when I walked over and took the microphone from her hand. "Actually, Patricia, I'd like to say a few words." She looked surprised but stepped back, still smiling for the cameras everyone was holding up. "Thank you all so much for coming today to celebrate our twins. Daniel and I are so grateful." I paused. "But before we continue celebrating, I think there's something everyone should know. Something Patricia has been hiding from all of you." Daniel's face went pale. "Lauren, what are you?" For 5 years, Patricia has been telling everyone in this family that I was the reason we couldn't have children. She called me barren. She told people I was broken, defective, that something was wrong with me. She made comments about my body at every family gathering. She even suggested to Daniel that he should reconsider his marriage because I couldn't give him children. The room went completely silent. People were staring. Patricia's smile vanished. I was just concerned. "But here's the truth," I continued, my voice steady. "We struggled to conceive because of male factor infertility. Daniel has severe oligospermia. That means his sperm count is less than 10% of normal. We had to do IVF with a special procedure called ICSI because natural conception was impossible. These babies exist because doctors extracted Daniel's sperm and manually injected them into my eggs." Patricia's face went from red to white. "You're lying. That's private medical." "I have the medical records right here," I said, pulling papers from my purse. "From our fertility clinic, with Daniel's name on them, with his diagnosis clearly stated." I turned to face her directly. "So you were right, Patricia. You'll never have grandchildren the way you imagined, because your son's biology made it impossible. These babies exist because of medical intervention and healthy eggs, not because of your fertile bloodline." Patricia started crying. Not sad crying, angry, humiliated crying. She grabbed her purse and ran out of the venue. Half her church friends followed her. Daniel stood there frozen. Then he turned to me, furious. "How could you do that? In front of everyone? That was private." "So was my fertility," I said calmly. "But she made it public for 5 years. She humiliated me at every opportunity. You stood by and let it happen. I'm done being her punching bag." His sister came up to me later. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I heard the things Mom said to you. I should have defended you. That took guts." We left the party early. The next few weeks were hell. Daniel barely spoke to me. His family was divided. Some thought I was cruel for exposing him like that. Others admitted Patricia had been horrible for years and deserved to be called out. But eventually, Daniel came around. We went to therapy. He finally admitted that he'd enabled his mother's abuse because he was afraid of her. He apologized for not protecting me when I needed him. Patricia, she stopped speaking to us entirely. She sent a single text when the babies were born. "Congratulations." That was it. The twins are 4 months old now. Patricia has met them once, for about 20 minutes. She was polite but distant. She doesn't make comments anymore. She doesn't tell anyone about her grandchildren. Some people think I was too harsh, that I humiliated her unnecessarily. But honestly, After 5 years of being called barren, broken, and defective, I think she deserved to know what public humiliation felt like. She said I'd never give her grandchildren, and she was right. Daniel couldn't give her grandchildren without medical help. But I made sure everyone knew exactly whose biology was the issue, and I sleep perfectly well at night. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more emotional true stories every day.